Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we're about to unpack a highly practical, step-by-step automation blueprint. We're literally going to take a messy, super manual business process and transform it into a flawless automated machine. How? Well, we're using a platform called N8N to connect Google Sheets directly to Gmail, and it's going to solve a very real, everyday operational headache.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for solving the daily chaos. First, we'll look at the specific problem at Saltea Burger. Then, we'll figure out when to actually use automation, set our time trigger, fetch the tasks from Google Sheets, send them via Gmail, and wrap it all up with a final test of the workflow. Section 1, the problem at Saltea Burger, also known as the daily headache. Because, before we even think about touching any software, we've got to ground this in the real human problem we're actually trying to solve.
So our source material introduces us to a fictional but honestly highly relatable business, Saltea Burger. The owner, Mr. Saltea, is stuck in this brutal manual morning routine. Picture this. Every day at 8 a.m., he's supposed to sit down and email his employee, Shafiq, a list of daily tasks. But Mr. Saltea is human, right? He forgets. He gets slammed with other stuff. The email goes out late. Shafiq is left standing around not knowing what to do. The restaurant opens late, and ultimately, they lose customers. It's just operational chaos. What we want to build is an automated morning where Shafiq's tasks are sitting right there in his inbox at exactly 8 a.m. every single day without Mr. Saltea lifting a finger.
Section 2, when to use automation, or as I like to call it, the automation litmus test. Look, before we jump in and start blindly clicking buttons in N8 and N, we really have to be strategic. Is automation actually the right choice here? The creator of our source material lays out this brilliant 3-step decision framework to figure that out. Think of it as a checklist. Step 1, is the task repetitive? Well, yeah, Mr. Saltea has to send this email every single day like clockwork. Step 2, what is the business impact? In this case, it's huge. That morning chaos directly causes lost customers and lost revenue. And step 3, what is the cost and effort to fix it? We always have to weigh the time and money it takes to build the automation against the money we're burning by doing nothing.
And here's the answer to that third question. Running this workflow on NN, it might cost you around $5 a month, which the source notes is roughly 250 Egyptian pounds. And the time effort? Literally minimal. We're talking minutes to set this up. When you compare a $5 monthly cost to the revenue loss from driving away actual paying customers, it's a no-brainer. Extremely low cost and low effort for a massively high business impact. It absolutely passes the test. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact chronological NN workflow sequence we're about to build. At exactly 8 a.m., the schedule trigger wakes the system up. 1 minute later, at 8:01, it fetches Mr. Saltea's digital notepad from Google Sheets. At 8:02, a bit of code beautifully formats that data. And finally, at 8:03, it fires off the Gmail. It's literally a perfect digital assembly line, running completely in the background.
Section 3, setting the time trigger, which kicks off the workflow. Now we're getting into the technical build, starting right at the beginning with the node that initiates this whole entire process. If you're new to the automation world, basically everything starts with what's called a trigger. So what is it? Just think of a trigger as an event that kicks off a workflow. It could be something like receiving a new text message or a customer making a purchase on your site. But for Saltea Burger, it's incredibly simple. It's just a daily alarm clock that rings at 8 a.m. sharp to say, hey, wake up, it's time to get to work. Inside NN, setting this up is a total breeze. We use a schedule trigger node. The source shows exactly how we configure it. We literally just tell it to trigger every 1 day. Then we set the exact hour to 8 and the minute to 0. Not 8:05, not 8:15, but precisely 8 a.m. Boom, our workflow now has a heartbeat. Section 4, fetching tasks from Google Sheets, the real brain of the operation. So, the alarm clock just went off, right? But the system needs to know what tasks it's actually supposed to send. It needs its brain to go retrieve Mr. Saltea's daily notepad. To keep things super simple, Mr. Saltea just jots down Shafiq's tasks in a very basic Google Sheet named Shafiq Tasks. It's literally just 2 columns, an ID number and the task description. Everyday stuff like open the restaurant, call SpongeBob, take orders, send email. The beauty of this is Mr. Saltea can just update the sheet at his own pace anytime the day before. So how do we actually get NN to read this notepad? We add a Google Sheets node, and honestly, the absolute best part about this, especially if you're a beginner, is how easy setting up the credentials is. You just click Sign in with Google, granted access, and NN instantly sees all your sheets. From there, we just select that Shafiq Tasks document and set the operation to Get Many Rows. This is key, because it tells the system to grab the entire list of tasks, not just the very first one on the list. Okay, now here is an absolutely crucial detail for making this run smoothly. When NN pulls that data from Google Sheets, it brings it over in a raw, computer-readable format, a JSON array to be specific. Basically, it looks like a messy block of computer code packed with brackets and quotation marks. If we forwarded that directly to Shafiq, he'd be so confused. So to fix this, we insert a tiny little code node. Think of it as a digital translator. And as the source points out, you don't even need to know how to code. You can just ask an AI, like ChatGPT, to write this quick script for you. All it does is take those robotic data chunks and stitch them together into a clean, human-readable text list with nice, neat line breaks.
Moving on to Section 5, sending tasks via Gmail, delivering the message. We've got our alarm clock, we've got our beautifully translated list of tasks. Now we just need the final action node to actually get this message delivered.
We drop in a Gmail node and set the operation to send message. Just like we did with Google Sheets, we authenticate our Google credentials really quickly. Then it's just like sending an email from your phone. We set the to field to Shafiq's email address, and for the subject line, we make it crystal clear, something like, Your tasks, ya Shafiq.
Now what's really interesting about this step is exactly how we assemble the email body itself. See, we can't just type the tasks in manually because they're going to change every single day. Instead, we type out a static greeting like, Here are your tasks, and then we use this super cool feature in N8N called an expression. Think of it like a dynamic fill-in-the-blank space. It lets us literally drag and drop that cleanly formatted text from our digital translator directly into the middle of the email. Then we just sign off with a polite, Thanks, Mr. Salty. This setup guarantees that whatever's sitting in the Google Sheet that morning automatically populates perfectly into the email. Section 6, final workflow test. Proving the blueprint actually works. We've built the machine, folks. Now it's time to put it to the test and make sure this Saltea burger automation is a total success. To really prove that this works dynamically, our source material shows Mr. Saltea going back into his Google Sheet the night before and adding a brand new 5th task, clean the restaurant. We need to be absolutely sure that at 8 a.m., the system grabs this newly updated data and doesn't just send the old list. So we click the button to run a test on the workflow. And boom! We check the inbox and there it is, a flawlessly formatted email. It greets Shafiq and lists all 5 tasks perfectly, including that brand new clean the restaurant task with nice clean line breaks separating everything. The workflow is an absolute success. By just activating this one simple automation, Mr. Salté has completely eliminated his morning chaos. But you know how it goes. Once you solve one bottleneck, you start seeing opportunities literally everywhere. The source wraps up with this fantastic provocative question for the future. If we can automate Shafiq's morning tasks this easily, how could we automate customer orders for SpongeBob tomorrow? It really makes you stop and wonder, right? What chaotic, messy morning process in your own business could you completely eliminate with just a Google Sheet and a basic scheduled trigger? Seriously, think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy automated.